Hey there everybody, it's Mr. Verzat. Today I'm going to show you a demonstration on how to repeat forms in perspective. Now this is going to be very basic, showing you how to create cubes that repeat off into the distance. The repeater is a scaffold that looks just like this, and I'm going to do it from like a top-down view. That's called orthographic, meaning there's no perspective in it. And so what we've got is our y-axis here, and then two x-axes. So let's say we want to make a little block, and we want to repeat this block. Well, rather than just eyeball it, which there could be some flaws or mistakes, we can actually know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, how to know where this would go. And so what you do is, with this plane, you find center first, and you guys have done this quite a bit so far, and bam, there's the middle. Okay? So that's step one. Step two is, once you've found center, the whole reason to do that is so that you could find kind of a halvesy, kind of the halfway point of this structure here. Okay? Once you've got that, the rest takes care of itself. Check this out. What you do is you connect the top corner over here with this middle point. That's the whole reason why we found that center line. All right? So think of this as like 10:30. And this as 3 p.m. on a clock. Now, if we draw a line between these 2 points, where it intersects here is going to be where the next edge is in our image. And so that's the next side of the plane. Seems a little weird when you look at it, but let's do it a couple more times. Now, we don't need to draw the X because right now we have all the information we need. So once again, 10:30. 3 o'clock, draw the line between the two. Start with your scaffold, and then let's define a little section. This time, just for fun, I'm going to make it skinnier. Now we find the center of that section. So we connect all 4 corners to find center, and there's center. Now with center found, we have the exact middle of the structure. And that was to get this point. And then we connect from the corner through this little 3 o'clock intersection area, and then bam, this is where the new beginning of our little plane is going to be. Let's do it again. 10 o'clock through 3 o'clock, and that's our new plane. Rinse and repeat until you fill it up. Now, we're going to go this way, just like we did before, but also we're going to go this way, just like we did before. And hey, guess what? Let's do it again. Let's go this way. All right? So how in the heck would you go about doing this? Well, I'm going to finish off the repeater here, just like you saw earlier. So we could build out planes just like this. But what we could do is continue the grid up in this direction, and then basically we're just spinning our canvas and doing the exact same thing. So here is 10:30, here's 3 o'clock, and there's the next one. If we want it to go this way, just turn your paper around. We just extend the grid out. The process doesn't change at all. Just the rotation of your paper is all that matters. So again, 10:30 to 3. So knowing that, that's how we can build a grid out to different areas. Now, another thing you can do with the grid that's very helpful is that you can use it to divide things up. So like, let's say we've got a form like this, and we want to divide this obviously into fourths. Not perfect, but gets the job done. Well, now you know what, you can do the exact same thing for everything in here or inside this one. It's the exact same process. Find center. We can divide that into quarters. We can do the exact same thing here. Let's say you had to find a form that you want to repeat this way in this portion of a grid? Well, you can do that, and then go through the whole repeater process. And you can go through the entire repeater process just like that. And so on. Let's take a look at this letter S. We're creating an illusion. So if we have, for like, let's say this is a river and this is a bird's eye view. Well, if we put a bounding box around it that works exactly the same way as that repeater grid that you just saw, then we can have little reference points on like what parts of this bounding box this S touches. And then we could go and put the bounding box in perspective. And by looking back, like say for example, like this 2/3 area is where this S touches. Well, that's pretty much the same thing here in perspective, right? That can help us draw something in 3D and see how it gets compressed and smashed down. And that's basically how you would draw a river or a road in 3D. And a lot of artists do this in their mind because they've done this so much that they have the feel for how it would correctly work in 3D. So let's go through the basic procedure of creating anything in 2-point perspective. Step 1, establish your horizon line. Step 2, plant 2 VPs on the page. Now those VPs, have them on the opposite sides of the horizon line. All right, now to build a cube, this is pretty much review, but I'll do it anyway. Start with your y-axis, and we're going to connect the top and the bottom to both VPs. There's one, and there's two. Next, you get to choose how thick the cube is going to be. So let's just say we're going to make it about this size. And then to close it off, we do the exact same thing. I want this cube to not be see-through, so I will not connect the top of this area, but rather I'm going to connect the bottom of this one to this opposite VP. Let's do that. All right, now I don't need to do that to this side because it's already done for us. And now I get to choose how thick this other side of the cube is going to be. So I'm going to draw the back side of it. And then again, follow the rule, connect the necessary corner to the necessary VP. So I don't want a see-through cube, so I'm not going to connect this way, but rather let's connect the bottom to the opposite vanishing point. And that has just made a cube for us. Now let's get into the repeater. And we follow the basic same steps that we did before. We want to repeat this cube in 3-dimensional space. Here's the center point that we tried to get to. And now we're going to connect that to the vanishing point. Now, same process as before. Connect 10:30 to 3 o'clock. 10:30, 3 o'clock. And that is the new vertical line that we're going to have. So I'm going to draw that right here. Let's do a couple more just for kicks. I'm going to speed the camera up a little bit. There. Now do you see how each repeating plane gets more and more compressed the further it gets away from camera? Another way you could refer to that would be the closer it gets to the vanishing point, the more jam-packed everything gets. That term is called foreshortening. That is part of the magic trick, part of the illusion of making people think that they're seeing something in 3D when it's actually taking place on a 2-dimensional surface like this canvas here. So this area is going to be basically the front of my next cube. And we go through the same process of building this cube like we did before. There's really no change. So if this is the front of the cube, then I need to connect the top and the bottom to this vanishing point over here to the left. Top and the bottom to both vanishing points. Now you're going to get a lot of junk lines. So I'd encourage you, once you're finished, either erase some junk lines you don't need or beef up the thickness of the lines around areas that are important and then ignore the rest. See, now all of a sudden this little cube stands out a little more clearer from the rest of his junk lines. All right, we still have to do this side right here. How do we know where that is? Well, the information is already present in the image. So naturally, wherever this line and this line intersect, we need to find that on this cube over here. So let's find this one. That would be here. Let's find this one. Well, that would be right here. So this is the new corner of our cube. I'm just going to stop right there. All right, let's move on to our next cube. So I need to erase some of these little junk lines. Remember, skip one because we're going to have some air in between them. So I'm going to turn off some of those slanted lines so we can see a little bit better. So now let's build the rest of this cube. All right, same process as before. It's just the same thing. Here's going to be the closest corner to us. Let's take the top and the bottom and let's connect that to the proper vanishing point. So the top is going to go over here to the left, and the bottom is going to go that way as well. Here's going to be the back of the cube. Here's going to be the bottom back. So let's connect the bottom to the proper vanishing point. And now where do we close it off? Well, here is the front of the cube. Here's the intersection, just like that. I'm going to go in and erase some of these junk lines just so that we can see a little more clearly what we're dealing with here. And after you do enough of these, you'll start to get a real good feel for how it operates. You will eventually have an aha moment if it's taken you a while to get to this point. For me, that's how it worked, and I've seen that with a lot of students as well. I'm going to make a bunch of cubes just in 2-point perspective, and then I'm going to repeat several of them in high speed. So what if we wanted to repeat this cube that way, or that way, or this way? How about all at the same time? Well, guess what? That's totally possible. And so how do we know where to close this off? Well, let's look at the cube that's in front of it. Here's the bottom of it. So let's connect this bottom and connect it to the VP. And you see this little intersection right here? That is the hidden edge on where that cube would be. A lot of perspective is trying to find hidden edges and hidden intersections. Let's clean this up a little bit. What do you say we move it up? Let's take this cube and repeat it here. To do that, I'm just going to find center on this plane because this side is going up and down. So let's follow the exact same setup. All right, we're going up, we're going this way. So all we do is we find, remember, this outside edge and this little guy right over here. Now we're going to make a little change though that's going to be kind of weird. And the fact that it intersects this line right here doesn't make any difference. That's just random chance. I'm paying attention to this area right here with that, okay? Now there's one little thing I'd like you guys to know. Do you notice how this line is slanted right here? All right, that goes off to a VP. So that means this next line that is obviously parallel to this needs to go to a VP as well. So that might be a little confusing, but just know that going back to convergence and how that works, that's going to be the next side. And so let's just follow the same rule again. Go from the outer corner and then through that little intersection. And it should intersect right about there. And then use your ruler connect that corner to your VP, and that's going to be the side of your cube. So we've got our lines so far. So now let's finish off the cube here. Top and bottom go to the VP over here. Now here is the back of the cube. We draw a little line from where this is. Here's the intersection point. That's going to be where the rest of it is. And we can't see the bottom, we can't see the top, because the horizon line is right here. And so that's one fun way on how you can use the repeater to move things around in three-dimensional space. It's really pretty cool. So again, for your homework assignment, all I want you to do is create several cubes and then repeat them. I don't expect you to, like, say for example, this guy, repeat them off into infinity, all right? Just do it like, 3 or 4 times for each cube. All right, I hope you found that helpful, and I'll see you guys in class. Bye-bye.